the funniest comedy heroes. Welcome to Mark and Pete Live. I'm Pete the clergyman. With me is Mark the businessman. And we're going to talk comedy in just a moment. Mark, what have you got for us today about comedy heroes? Who's your favorite?
Yes, indeed. Comedy is big business in my eyes. But we all have comedy heroes. We all look up to people who make us laugh.
Yep.
And one such particular duo, really, in my opinion, are iconic when it comes to humour. I'll give you an example. Bring Me Sunshine. Morecambe and Wise were comical guys, and the duo were jolly good eggs. One had 4 eyes and was full of surprise. The other had short, hairy legs. Yes, it appears as though there is a new show. I say new because it's, as you very well know, the BBC folks often used to wipe a lot of the recordings of Eric Morecambe and Ernie Wise, and they were never actually kept. But actually a new one has come to light.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of the old shows were just, I guess tape was just phenomenally expensive in those days, and they used to just wipe them if recorded at all. Actually, sometimes, if you did a live show, I don't think that they broadcast live. Well, of course they did in their very earliest shows, but yes, they for people in Britain, they're big stars, and remind you of Christmas time when there's always a Morecambe and Wise special, wasn't there?
Oh yes.
So I think that they are, in that way, comedy heroes. They're entertainment heroes, aren't they? And they came into our living rooms with the TV. So everyone across Britain will know the references in your poem there. Short, hairy legs, and short, fat, hairy legs is old Ernie Wise. And there's all the different tropes that they use. What was so good about them, do you think? Why are they a comedy hero?
Well, I think the key to it is that towards the latter half of their careers, they brought out their personalities, their own personalities. Yeah. And I think that the writers who recognized that they had this certain repartee, which wasn't false. It was actually genuinely Eric Morecambe and Ernie Wise, but albeit within comedy sketches and routines. And I think is the likability factor. You like some of the things they said, some of the jokes were very good, some of the sketches were great, but you actually enjoyed them as people. And I think that was the difference.
I think that it is interesting that they were together so long that they did develop that rapport. A couple of stories about them. I know from one of their biographies, this story is told that originally they were put together by agents, used put together to perform, and they were put together as a comedy double act, but the other way round, in that the comedy, the straight man rather, was Eric Morecambe, and the comedy part, the comedian, was Ernie Wise. And Eric Morecambe's mum spoke to the promoter and said, "My son has something special," and bullied him into changing it round, and the rest, as they say, is history. But it's interesting looking at the other thing that I was going to say was I saw one of the early shows. It was just incredibly rude, crass humour compared with their later shows. It just wasn't funny. And I think these days, just talking about the way things run now, if you're going to have a TV show of comedians, if it doesn't work in the first series, I think they're out. Whereas it took quite a few to bed in.
Well, literally. I mean, what was ironic is that there was none of this sort of a business where if you couldn't commercially succeed within your first series, as you say, then really, certainly today, you would not be progressing. But I think that the days of certainly the BBC were a little bit more tolerant, and indeed the independent broadcasting companies in the United Kingdom gave people a little bit more time to get traction. But you've got to remember, of course, the media was very different in the sense that in the United Kingdom, we only had 2 or 3 channels. And of course, today it's very, very different.
Yes. Now, let me just put to you, Mark, some comedians and ask you just what you think of them.
Are you on the list?
Gentle listener. No, neither is Boris Johnson or Joe Biden.
Well, I was thinking of putting one of those in my top 5.
But, no, this just comes straight, and you can try this, gentle listener. Just put into Google UK comedians. You'll come up with this list, and so you could play along at home. I'm just going to put to you, Mark, what do you think of these comedians that just come up straight away? So they're well known in that Google recognizes that there's been lots of searches for them. So number one, all I want to know is, do you think they're funny? Then I'll give my opinion. So are these comedy heroes? Right. Jimmy Carr.
Jimmy Carr is actually quite witty, albeit, shall I say, risque.
Yes. So Jimmy Carr is a one-liner merchant, I suppose. He tells slightly longer jokes, but his shtick, if you like, is being rude, on the edge, sort of offensive jokes, and he makes a big thing of that. Okay, next one, Ricky Gervais.
Well, I personally feel as a stand-up, he's not funny. In The Office, he was mildly amusing.
I think he's a bit of my opinion, he's a bit of a one-trick pony. Yes, he was funny, as you say, in The Office. It was a particular type of humour. I don't think it translates. I don't find him funny in anything else. But I don't find him unlikable. And I think the likability factor is important. Jimmy Carr isn't likable. Ricky Gervais is sort of medium. He's not very likable. He's not unlikable. Morecambe and Wise, especially Eric Morecambe, were incredibly likable. Even if they weren't funny, he was still likable. And you wanted them to be funny because you just wanted him to succeed. Yeah. Okay, let me give you another British one then. Michael McIntyre.
Well, now, I have to say that in all of the time that I've ever seen him appear on stage, on screen, and in any other form, I have never laughed. Now, I do understand he's very successful, and he's got a certain command of an audience, but I don't know whether it's just the content. I don't dislike him as a person. It's just maybe it's his material. I do not find him funny.
Now, he does a lot of observational humor. Yes. This is what it's like driving a car. And it is mildly amusing. But I'm going to say the next one. This is the last one I'm going to do from the UK because I want to move on to some others. But this person, I think, does that same thing better. Peter Kay.
Now, you see, he has something. Well, one, he's physically amusing.
Yes. He's very fat.
So for people who don't know who he is, he's slightly portly, has a funny sense of humor. He has done charity records, and they've been very successful. Yeah. But I think that he has a cheekiness about him.
Well, he would do observational humor. He would tell stories about his gran.
But I think the difference with him is that he brings over his own personality, whereas I think Michael McIntyre is very slick, he's very professional, but for some reason I still don't really know who he is. And I think that with Peter Kay, I get a sense of him as a character.
Peter Kay, I think, has that certain something special that we're talking about. Eric
it's that ingredient.
He's likable and funny, and it comes across as cheeky. Let me show you some US comedians now. You may not be as familiar with these. They're names that I know. They're not necessarily ones.
Gerald Ford. Now, he was a great funny president.
How about get a bit the first one on my list here? So, yes, if you want to play along at home, just go to Google and type in US comedians. Not US meaning useless, but United States. Louis C.K. is the first one.
Brilliant. I have no idea who that is.
Oh, okay. I just mentioned because I've heard him, again, observational humor, not straight one-liners. I couldn't raise a titter, so to speak.
As I said.
Okay, the next one. Let's try another one then. Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think he fits the same category.
Do you know him, Dave Chappelle?
No.
Okay, well, he is similar to Louis C.K. I find him a little bit more likable.
Good.
Is a bit younger. Anyway, Dave Chappelle, you don't know who he is. So I'll try one more. Right. This is someone, he's not alive now. But this guy is very famous. You should know this one.
Okay.
George Carlin.
George Carlin. Now, there you go. No,
well, he is a sort of a writer, again, observational. This one, he's sort of like an old curmudgeon, a bit like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
And George Carlin would also... He did a famous piece of his was he mentioned all the words you're not allowed to say on television anymore.
Yes.
And that was very funny. Yeah. So he died in 2008. Okay, I'm going to try two that you must know now.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Bill Cosby.
Now, there you go. Not a controversial character in any way.
No, that's
but what I would say is I thought he was amusing in his family show. Unfortunately, personal events meant that, unfortunately,
we're talking about his performance.
Unfortunately, I'm slightly tarnished there because it comes back to the person. I sort of buy into a person.
Do you know that expression? When you say about politicians normally. Yeah, but which one would you want to go and have a drink with? But in Bill Cosby's case, don't drink the drink. Don't take.
No, exactly.
But Bill Cosby had the likability factor that we talked about.
But also other American comedy acts. I mean, I know that we think of some of the greats like Bob Hope, great one-liners, great stand-up, etc. Yes. I thought George Burns had something about him. He was a great observation comedy act. Now, my view here is that when it comes to one-liners, it's all about the I say, I say, I say. And here's a simple example. So here's maybe imagine you being a comedic stand-up, or maybe me. So I say, I say, I say. A stand-up comedy act is best done lying down. And a funny old fact, because you can't see the audience frown. A stand-up comedy act is best done standing on your head. And a funny old fact, because you can't see when the audience fled. A stand-up comedy act is best done standing for something woke. And a funny old fact, because the world has become a joke. In fact, Clergyman Pete, a stand-up comedy act is best done standing for something funny. And again, a funny old fact, because you've taken the audience's money. Pum.
Stand-up comedy, I like all the different forms. I have to say, my favourite is one-liners. I do like the funny, quick one-liners.
Oh, yes.
Now, it seemed to be the case that in Britain, going back, say, to the 40s and 50s and maybe even into the 60s, the British comedy.
Are we talking about age or time?
In time,
right.
Last century, it was people standing up and singing mildly amusing songs.
Yes.
And that changed with the American comedians came over with all their one-liners.
Yes.
In Britain, though, there was another change towards satirical humour, being more hard-hitting
and situational.
Yes, but the American one-liners, I mean, they changed to. I think it seems to me that most American comedians now will be situation or at least telling stories, observational humor, or those two things. But I do like those sort of humor.
Yes,
but they've got to be very likable. We've got to have such a high likability factor there.
Well,
otherwise you don't draw me in. Whereas if you can tell a good one-liner, then if you've got the skill to do that and tell it well, and you can keep up the pace, then I think you're very funny.
Well,
now, I think the funniest, I think the best at this is Tim Vine from the UK.
No, so quick-witted.
With our American listeners, maybe you haven't heard of him, but look him up. His YouTube shows Live at the Apollo is one.
Yes.
The sort of joke he might tell is he'd say, "I'd like to start with chimney jokes. I've got a stack of them."
Exactly.
Okay. That sort of joke, but you have to keep going.
Yes.
The advantages of easy origami are twofold, for example. But it's the way you tell them, really.
Yes.
The way you tell them.
Well, in fact,
Tim Vine, his jokes are used by lots of other people as well, I notice.
Yes. Well, you see, it's rapid fire, and I believe he was at some point, I don't know whether he still holds the world record, or did hold the world record for telling the most number of jokes within a space of a minute.
He did, and also I think he's won more than once.
Yes.
The best joke at the London Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Ah, well, there you go.
I believe he won one year with his
Supreme Standards.
I think he won the joke about the holiday. I've just been on a once in a lifetime holiday. I'll tell you what, never again. That one.
Quite.
But it was funny at the time.
It was. But you see, I suppose, Clergyman Pete, we have to ask, what is the art of comedy?
I mean, what makes people funny? Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, it can be summarized as follows. It's all about a special delivery. The art of good comedy is the audience priming, the rhyme of repartee and rapid rhyming. Sometimes it's the slapstick and all the sliming, with many moments of mimics and lots of miming. But through the cheering, chuckles and chiming, the special part of it all is the perfect timing.
Yes, timing's what he's. It's interesting you say that, because timing is, of course, vital to go.
Quite indeed.
And the best comedian, I guess he's a comedy actor, really, but the best, he did do stand-up comedy as well, though, was Hancock, Tony Hancock, who had his own show on BBC Radio and then later on television called Hancock's Half Hour.
Yeah, for many years.
Sorry?
Many years he had broadcast.
Yeah, he had it for many years, and it was many years ago. I wasn't sure which you were saying. No, we believe, committed suicide at this. He was found.
Yes, that wasn't the funny part, though.
That wasn't funny, and I don't think he particularly was a nice person or likable in real life. Indeed, what I said before doesn't mean that people were likable in real life. It's if you're likable on stage or on screen, and he was in a sort of dishevelled manner. But the reason that he was funny was his timing.
Yes,
he could somehow. It was an innate ability. I think.
I think there's somebody better.
Just get the timing right to make it funny.
I think there's somebody much better. He was well known in the United Kingdom.
Someone better than Hancock.
Oh, absolutely. And it's somebody who's no longer alive, but was regarded as the master of delivery, and that was Bob Monkhouse. He was a consummate comedian.
Bob Monkhouse was very good at telling jokes. Yes,
slick jokes with perfect timing.
Yeah. I mean, I think Hancock's timing is just the best. But I do like his. In fact, of the ones we've talked about, the only one that I've seen live is Bob Monkhouse.
Well, there you go.
And he was very funny. Yeah. And at that point, he was quite elderly.
Yeah.
I believe he was 80 or something like that. He had a TV show. And I was sitting in the audience. I managed to get into the audience. It was free because I think it was a BBC show. But anyway, for whatever reason, it was a free show. He came on, and he was obviously not quite with it. He looked very elderly. And what they did was they flashed up on a teleprompter just the names of jokes, not an actual script. And he started to tell these jokes. And as he told them, he sort of woke up until he was at full sparkling ability. Then they started the show. And throughout the show, he showed no signs of being elderly at all. He was very quick-witted. He would be given a topic by a member of the audience, and he would just make up a joke on it. Yes, very, very good. But he's the only one I've seen live. Maybe the other people were as impressive, but that was very impressive.
Yeah.
Especially because of his age.
Well, there you go.
But who do you think? Not you, Mark, but you, gentle listener. We want to hear from you. Who do you think is the best comedian? Is it someone whose timing is great, someone whose jokes are just brilliant, or someone who's just so incredibly likable you just want to spend time with them? Let us know in the comments below, or just get in touch with us, because we love to hear from you, and maybe we'll feature some of your comedy hero in a future show. But I guess that's all from us here at Mark and Pete Live. Catch you next time.